Early childhood is a time for learning. It's the most important time for learning in our lives. This is true for all children, even when handicaps or disabilities make learning harder. The handicapped child does learn, but he learns more slowly than his non-handicapped brothers and sisters. He needs careful teaching to help him reach his full potential. We call this special teaching early intervention. Small Steps is an early intervention program designed for parents to use at home. The 11 videotape programs in this series are an introduction to the more detailed information you will find in the Small Steps manual. Together, the videotapes and the manual will show you how to teach your child the skills which children normally acquire in the first 4 years of life. Ideally, you will have the support of a teacher or therapist, but we aim to present information that will help you to proceed on your own if such support is not available. Small Steps is based on the Macquarie program for developmentally delayed children. In this first session, we will introduce you to the Macquarie program and to some of the principles on which it is based. The Macquarie program has its own little classroom and playground on the campus of Macquarie University in Sydney's northwest. Most of the children who attend are children with Down syndrome, but the program has been used with all kinds of children, some with more severe handicaps and others who are only mildly delayed. The director of the program is Moira Petersey. We asked Moira to tell us a little about early intervention.
Early intervention is the education of young handicapped children. It is intended to accelerate the development of children who, because of some handicap, are delayed in their development. Early intervention programs assess what a child can do. The person in the early intervention program will assess a child to find out what the strengths of that child are, what they can do in the sequences of normal development, and then build on those strengths by taking the child step by step through the sequences of normal development, by presenting them with the opportunity to do things which will help them up that next step of normal development.
The children join the Macquarie program when they are just a few weeks old. They attend with their parents once a week for a session with a teacher and with the physiotherapist. The parents and teachers talk about what the child has been doing since the last visit. The teacher observes the child to see what the child is ready to learn next.
Take. Oh, clever boy. Clever boy. You got it. What a clever boy you are. Put the other hand on it too. That's the way. Now you've got both hands on it. There you are. No, look, that's marvellous. He's really getting control. Look, he passed it from hand to hand. That's really great. That's good. You're a smart boy, Harry. Yes, you are. Harry, look. Oh, where's it gone? Oh, yes, down there. What a clever boy. We start as early as we can with early intervention because handicapped children just don't have time to waste. We find it so important to help them to keep as close to normal development as possible because, for one thing, we know how important those first 5 years of learning are for children, for any children. And another benefit from early intervention is that it helps parents to do something for their child, and it's so encouraging for their parents when they're doing it because they then start to realise that their child's progressing, and that's very encouraging for the parents of handicapped children.
You know, sometimes the handicap or delay isn't recognised until the child is older, but it's never too late to start. The important thing is that you do start.
In these sessions with the teacher, the parents learn ways to teach their children in several different areas of development. They learn ways to help their children to do new things with their hands, new ways to play and explore objects. They learn to teach their children the meanings of words and phrases. They learn to teach language by talking to their babies and responding to every attempt the baby makes to communicate. They learn ways to encourage their baby's social skills and self-help skills. Each child also sees the physiotherapist, who talks to the parents about the development of the large muscles of the body and ways to teach the child to balance, crawl and walk.
Can you feel that he's making an effort to correct himself
Yes,
there?
yes, I can feel that along the
trunk?
sides there.
Hello, Harry.
Today he's throwing his arms out more to
support
balance him.
himself.
Quite often he grips on here for dear life, and
Well, he has got the support of the arms. He hasn't. Let me like to see if we can get him just to use his trunk. Oh, look at it. We'll put that up for the benefit of the camera. See the trunk creasing there as he tries to right himself.
good boy, Harry. Good boy.
Just check those tummy muscles. Oh, lovely. Lovely tummy muscles. Good, lovely tummy muscles. Good boy. He's really working hard there. That's an area of concern. I think I've told you that, haven't I?
Yes.
Because they tend to have very lax tummy muscles, which affects their whole posture later. That's right. I think so.
The most important teaching and learning takes place in the home. Here, Harry's parents and sisters are using family activities to help him to learn.
Like the flowers?
When's he coming back?
Oh, Tuesday, I think.
Yeah,
You like whipping violets the feet carrying?
oh, geez, there's one that rolls around.
Harry. Good boy, Harry. Good boy.
Is that how it was, Sue? You put one hand on his knees to keep his knees straight. If you don't let his volume sit on it. And one hand to control his trunk.
Right, you have your knees up like this.
So he can put his hands on.
Mommy, I think a balloon flying.
It's awful doing it right. You don't like it very much, do you, Harry?
When you've got a big
Right.
balloon there now. Are I gonna do some more dancing? No, we've got to dance to everyone. Gonna clap? Harry, come on, look.
Brothers and sisters are very important in helping Mum and Dad with their little new brother and sister. Of course, so is Grandma and Grandpa and aunts and uncles, but especially brothers and sisters. First of all, they love to play with the small child, and of course the baby loves to have brother and sister playing with them, and they respond so well to the other children in the family too.
This is the way the gentleman rides, the gentleman rides, the gentleman.
Parents are the most important teachers of children, whether their children are handicapped or not, and particularly so in early intervention. Mothers and fathers spend more time with their children than anybody else does, and if they can really help the child to learn the things which other children can do, then their child's progress will be so much better.
Miss Polly had a dolly who was sick, sick, sick. So she phoned for the doctor to come quick, quick, quick. The doctor came with his bag and his hat, and he knocked on the door with a rat-a-tat-tat.
Older children attend the Macquarie program in groups. Now, each child learns to be a member of a group, to take turns and listen and share toys and adult attention. This is an important preparation for preschool and school later on.
With my Bill, Bill, Bill. Lovely work. That was nice work with Miss Polly. I've got a big bouncing ball. I'm going to throw my ball. Throw. Throw. Lovely throwing a ball. You show me the ball. Lovely. Show me the ball. Ball. And you can tell me ball too. That's right.
Some parents of handicapped children don't have access to groups for handicapped children or to early intervention programs, but because we realise that play is so important for handicapped children, we often suggest that they attend the normal play groups with other children, and we've found that other parents are very happy to have a handicapped child along to mix with their children, because not only is it good for the handicapped child, but they realise that their own children benefit from learning how to play with handicapped children. If a playgroup's not available in the area, then it's not very difficult to find one or two parents who have young children and arrange the odd time for them to play together or even to go to the park together with them, so that your handicapped child mixes with children of his own age and learns to play with them.
In addition to their group activities and time spent in play, the children continue to work in individual sessions with their teachers and with their parents.
I've got ball and chair. Susie, show me chair. Good, showing me chair. There it is. Susie, show me ball. Oh, well done. Well done, Susie. You found ball. Here's Bear, Susie. You kiss Bear. Kiss Bear. Lovely work, Kiss Bear. Oh, beautiful Bear. Susie, I want you to jump Bear. Oh, well done, Susie Yates.
Now here's Susie working with her mother.
Susie, kiss Dolly. Big kiss. Big kiss. Mummy's turn. Okay.
Here is Ross with his teacher.
That's good putting that circle in. Look, you put it in. Try this square. You put the square in. Square in. Good. Here's our circle. Ross, put circle in. Oh, nicely done, Ross. You put it in. You put the circle in.
Ross works on similar activities with his mother.
Ross, put circle in circle. Looking. Come on. Circle in circle. Feet still. Feet still. Circle in circle. Good boy.
As they approach school age, the children are introduced to the pre-academic skills of writing, counting and reading, both in individual sessions and in groups.
This is a big sentence.
Banana.
Oh, great. What does Christopher like?
Banana.
Right. Can you tell me the story?
Yes.
You tell me the story.
Christopher is the banana.
He eats the banana. He likes the banana too, doesn't he? Christopher likes
The banana.
great reading.
The little car.
Nice work.
Good reading. Who likes the little car?
Luke.
Yes, what do you like, Luke?
Car.
Yes, that's right.
Language work is an important part of each child's individual program. The ability to communicate with others is just as important to the handicapped child as it is to any other child. Specially planned play activities help the children to practice and extend their language skills.
Not this fast.
Here, Beth is encouraging Christopher to talk about the game they are playing.
You want to push?
It's fast.
Let's push.
Yeah, push.
If we push, what's going to happen? Oh, what happened to our tower, Christopher? What happened to it? What did we do? It fell down. Crash. Crash. What will we do about it?
Make some more.
We'll do some more. Okay, let's do some more. Righto.
Make some.
It's my turn.
These individual teaching sessions in language and other skills are based on careful observation of what the child can already do. The skills covered by the Macquarie program are arranged in the order in which children normally acquire them, so the teachers can readily identify which skill to teach next. Each new goal takes the child just one small step further along the sequence of normal development.
If I see a high wall, there's no way that I can climb it. But given a set of steps, I can do it. And in a way, that's what it's like in early intervention. In early intervention, we're giving a handicapped child the small steps needed to reach those goals of early development.
Once they turn 4, all the children attend their local preschool for at least one session a week. Let's watch Luke at his preschool.
Hey, that's a I know what number 1 looks like. See? Here. Yeah.
I wonder where you two are gone.
For the children, preschool means new friends to make and new situations to explore. For the Macquarie teachers, it gives an opportunity to observe children in a different setting. Luke attends the Kellyville Preschool Kindergarten. The director is Rhonda Holland.
Grown a lot. He's been here for nearly 2 years now, and we've concentrated on his social skills and his emotional skills because his intellectual skills have been developed through the Macquarie program. So we work on that as well, but his main growth area has been socially and emotionally. He's learning to play with children in a group, learning about himself, how he functions as part of a group of children his own age, how to cope with children in different situations, whether they're playing well together or whether they're having disagreements, all those social skills. He has learned to help himself. With eating, when he first came, he needed help with his food. Now he can do all that on his own, going to the toilet, all those, making beds, just looking after himself. That's grown a lot. His confidence in himself is improving all the time. He's learning how he feels about things, whether he can be angry and happy and enjoy some things and not others, that it's all part of living. So he's come a long way in that.
Does he learn from watching the other children?
When he first came, there was a lot of observation. He used to watch most of the time, and then as he learned and watched it that way, he then used what he'd seen in the way he started to explore the environment, the preschool environment.
With a knick-knack, paddywhack, with a dog a bone, this old man came rolling home. This old man, he played George, can't trick you, David. He played knick-knack, opening the gate. Open the gate.
Rhonda, how do you feel about having handicapped children in your preschool?
Well, we feel it's an important extension of our preschool work in that it's providing the opportunity for the children to accept all parts of the community, that everybody is an individual and everybody has different problems they have to cope with, and it's good for the handicapped child and the child who is not having specific problems to learn to accept that everybody is different.
A program such as Macquarie's is not an end in itself. Its value is that it encourages the children to participate more fully in the world around them. When handicapped children are given the chance to join in with other children, their lives are richer for it, and so too are the lives of the children and adults who get to know them. Here are some of the essential features of the Macquarie program. It follows the normal sequences of development. That is, it teaches skills in the same order that children normally learn them. The program teaches new skills in small steps, designed to give the child a feeling of success. Individual programs are designed to suit each child on the basis of careful observation of what the child can do. The program uses teaching techniques that are easy to learn and require no special technology. The program covers many different kinds of skills so that the child learns to move freely, to play, to care for herself, and to communicate with others to the best of her ability. The program recognises the parents as the most important teachers of the child.
You see, what we're doing is encouraging people to have positive ideas about handicapped children, because we really know that we can help handicapped children so much by having positive feelings about them and by coming in with positive ideas that parents can do with their children. We found that when we expect more, we find that children can do more. And parents can make a big difference with their children just by expecting that they will learn.
In the sessions that follow, we will look more closely at how the Macquarie program works and how you can apply it in your own setting. Part 2 looks at the things that children need to learn in the first few years of life and the ways in which parents can help them to learn. Parents are teachers. Think of all the things that children learn before they go to school. The things they learn can be divided into several areas. Let's look first at the area of gross motor. This covers the development of the large muscles of the body. Children learn to hold their head steady, to bear weight on their arms, to sit up and crawl, to walk, run and climb, and to enjoy active games with bikes and balls and so on. In the area of fine motor development, children learn to control the small muscles of their hands and coordinate their hands with their eyes so that they can bring their hands to the things they see. Once hands and eyes are working together, children can pick things up and put them down again, build with blocks, cut with scissors and draw pictures. They also learn to use these skills of hand and eye to solve problems, such as what goes where and how this fits in that hole. Children also learn to understand what other people say to them. We call this receptive language. Children learn the names of familiar people and objects. They learn to follow simple directions. They learn the meanings of all sorts of words and phrases so that they can join in or understand the conversation of those around them. Perhaps the most important area in which children learn is that of expressive language or communication. Children learn to express their feelings and needs through gestures, sounds, and then words. Even before talking begins, children can learn to express their feelings and needs through gestures and sounds. Finally, there are personal and social skills. Children learn to do things for themselves. They learn to take care of their own needs in things like washing, eating, toileting and dressing. Children also learn how their parents and friends expect them to behave. They learn how to play with other children and join in family and community activities. In all these areas, children learn by building one skill on another. Each skill that they learn prepares them to learn something new. Children learn all these skills and more under the guidance of their parents. Parents take on one of the most demanding teaching jobs of all just by being parents. When a child has a handicap that makes learning harder, then teaching is more demanding because the child will need more help to learn each new skill. Parents of handicapped children need to be specially aware of just what their child can do and what he needs to learn next.
Now, we didn't put any curls on her head. That's right. She has got curly hair. And do you think she'd like to wear a hat?
Yeah.
All right, we'll put a hat on her head. That's really good, isn't it?
If you follow an early intervention program with your child, you will aim to teach him or her the same kinds of things that all children learn. Sometimes special exercises are needed to help correct physical problems, but generally the activities you do with your child will be quite familiar things that parents and children do together. Later in these videotape programs, and in your Small Steps manual, we will talk about how to decide what to teach and when. You will also learn some special ways of handling and talking to your child. You will learn things like how to position your child to strengthen his muscles, how to help him use his hands, how to encourage him to look at you and talk to you, and how to give him the help that he needs without helping him too much. Using small steps will mean being a little more deliberate about the things that you do with your child. You will not necessarily need to spend more time, but you will need to be aware of how best to spend the time you have. Let's look again at a scene we saw in the previous videotape, Harry at home with his parents. It looks like a very ordinary family scene, and indeed it is. But notice the way that Sue is holding Harry. She's supporting him so that he sits on her hip facing outwards. Sue has learned at Macquarie that this position will help Harry to strengthen his back muscles, and it also allows him to twist from side to side so that he can reach out for the things he wants. Sue holds Harry close to the plant she is watering so that he can practice reaching out and grasping. She knows that the violets are just as interesting to Harry as a rattle would be.
Good boy, Harry.
Here, Sue holds Harry as she watches his sisters play. She's dropping the toys to encourage him to look for them as they disappear from view. As a tiny baby, Harry lost interest in objects as soon as they were out of sight. But now he is ready to learn that they do still exist, and he can find them if he looks for them.
That will be enough.
Good boy, Harry. You see that there?
Have a bell on it.
All the family is involved in giving Harry interesting things to look at and reach for, and in helping him to join in the conversation at his own level.
It is really important that the whole family is involved in early intervention with handicapped children, and that includes brothers and sisters, grandmothers, grandfathers, uncles and aunties, cousins, everybody, because the child needs to be part of the whole extended family.
With babies, almost all special teaching can be done as part of everyday activities. As a child grows older, it helps to set aside short periods of time for special teaching sessions, just 15 minutes or so each day.
Every day after breakfast and after dinner, I find it's the best time to work with Susie. And that's usually the time. I leave all the dishes and I turn around and I get my little tables out and all her working objects, and we have 10 minutes after breakfast and after dinner. And then it's done. I never do my dishes until she's gone to bed. During the day, as we play and go places and do things, I try to teach her things and tell her what the names of the objects and what we're doing, and just tell her generally what everybody's doing.
Bath? Bath? Bath, good girl.
After attending the program, I found that you have to speak to your children differently, your handicapped child differently, in one word instead of a sentence, anticipating their needs and getting them to say it first, and it just became second nature in the way you speak to the child. You just learn a different way of speaking to them, and it just comes out naturally.
The teaching skills that these parents have learned at Macquarie are explained in the Small Steps manual and later in this videotape series, so that you can use them in your own setting to teach the skills that your child needs to learn.
we've brought his teaching into just being something normal for us, just even reading books or playing with the toys. It's just a normal thing for us now. Helping him, I get a lot of pleasure out of, but I don't think it makes really any difference to me, except the pleasure I get out of seeing the results that I get from him.
I think the most important thing in handling them is to treat them as you would any other child. They still need discipline, and without discipline you've got an unbearable child that nobody likes. And I've been very fortunate in the fact that Kelly is well behaved, and I just don't believe a child should be treated any differently because it has some sort of disability.
You're always aware of what you're doing and the importance of what you're doing, and you try to not let bad habits form. You try not to think, oh well, it's all right for now, he can have it just for now, because you don't want to start a problem that might be a bit hard to get out of later. And you handle him in a more aware way. You're more aware of the things that are going on and the things that he's doing. So you're just really totally just more aware of the whole thing. It helps him the more you're aware of what's going on and what he's doing, the more you can help him.
We praise Ross whenever he does anything that's right, which he hasn't done before. We try and get him to concentrate on those to make sure that he is able to do them again later. We don't praise any of his bad habits. We try not to make a joke of his bad habits, which with other children you may, which are normal growing up things, but with Ross you try not to. It happens occasionally that you laugh at some of his bad habits, but you try and weed all of those out. But apart from things like that, he's treated as normally as anybody else.
Doing the early intervention program does make a difference in my motherhood, in the sense that I become a lot more aware of their milestone, of what children do in certain age, and you become a teacher as well as a mother. I think it makes you wiser. I would say this, that every mother loves their baby, but it's all depends how much she shows it. And I just made it a real point in my life that I show my love a lot. And I guess that really stimulates her. You know, I throw her in the air, and you just love your child a lot, and you play with your child a lot. And I think that's important.
We both play a different role, and sometimes it may not be choice. I think it's mainly because of you're better at it than the other. I do fine motor. I do his program in the fine motor skills. I possibly lose patience. I think Heather's better at it. I don't try to put the load back on her to do it, but it just happens that I don't see it often enough, and I don't do it often enough because of being at work. And I've only got the weekends in a lot of cases. By the time the evening comes around, we're all fairly tight. And if it's got to be done, Heather normally does it. I think that Ross gets the best benefit out of it if she does it. The best way I can help Ross is, I think, is by doing the physical, more on the gross motor side. With gross motor, I find that it's mainly just a normal part of living, and I find playing with them. You do slightly structure it. You've got to change your method of play occasionally. You've got to stop and think occasionally what you're doing, whether it's really the right way of playing with him to make sure he's getting the best benefit from it. But it seems to, in a lot of cases, it fits in as I would treat my other children.
The other children can help you. If they're older, you can explain to them the teaching methods that you're being taught, and in their own way they do the same thing. The younger children help because they play together, interact together. I think siblings are really important. They really help. The more of them, the more help you get, really.
I work part-time, so my mother helps a lot. And of course when my brother and sisters come home, they sort of get stuck into her and play with her on the floor and get out of different things for her to do, and they stimulate. I find they stimulate her a lot in getting her to talk and do things in a fun sense. You know, they make everything into a game for her.
I'm mostly trying to have him around me all the time, and I'm sort of fortunate enough to have other children and nephews who we sort of spend a lot of time together, and they're all very good with him. So Anthony's got somebody going with him all the time, more or less. You know, he's not on his own most of the time, so I think that's really helped him along.
It doesn't worry me that it's taking time away from the other children, in the sense that his father and I have been very conscious that they need their special time, so we've deliberately done particular things to make sure that the other children get their time. I think if you just think about it sensibly, it doesn't really affect the other children.
I feel that if you're going to do a program without any support, you would have to consider first that it more or less takes over your life, and you have to do all or nothing, and consider that you're prepared to do that beforehand. It's hard work, it takes up a lot of time, but your child will definitely benefit.
Teaching your child skills, the rewards are far and few, and it's a matter of accepting that you could be concentrating on one particular task for a long time before you see the benefit of it, and you'll get to the point of being frustrated, annoyed, lose your patience, all of them. But once he's done it, the joy is tremendous. But it's a matter of having the patience and knowing that sooner or later it's going to happen.
I'd certainly encourage anybody to carry out an early intervention program, with or without a support group. It certainly makes a big difference to the children, and it gives, when they make progress, it makes things much easier for you. So it can only help, you can't hinder. And any strain or pressure you may find at certain times is well rewarded when they achieve things. So I just couldn't stress more strongly that I feel that everybody with a handicapped child should make an effort to carry out some sort of intervention program.
I think the thing that makes them most different to him is the love and extra... No, what's the word? I can't think of the word. It's just that extra love, I think, that you give him that makes him respond better. When he achieves something, he gets so much encouragement from it. But I think mainly just that extra love that you give the child.